Welcome, everybody, to the Valley Care Wellness Podcast. We are back and we're actually in T or C, Truth or Consequences, with Dr. Love, and obviously the owner of Valley Care Wellness, Yuri Langle. And this is a beautiful wellness facility that we're here at. Dr. Love has been a longtime friend of mine. She's extraordinarily versed in wellness. I mean, she's taught me so much about my health. And so I was happy to put her together with Yuri here because she's all about health and wellness with obviously Valley Care Wellness. But we're going to open up here and let Dr. Love introduce herself, give us a little bit of her story, and we're just going to tie everything in real nice and neat and real beautiful with the future of medicine. We all here feel that the future of medicine is this wellness type of lifestyle, and we're just going to do what we can to put it all together for you all. Okay, guys? So check it out. Here's Dr. Love.
Hi, Joanne Love, and we're here at Hot Springs Wellness Clinic, which is an actual hot springs facility. And what I do now is I consult and I help people figure out health problems that their doctors can't even get close to solving. My favorite kind of person is someone on 10 different medications, just completely lost in the system. And then what I try to do is orientate them to what the real problem is, what's underlying this, what doesn't their doctor know? Because if their doctor knew, their doctor would help them out of it. But there are many things in medicine that are kind of flying right below what we can see. And primarily, my thing is help people recover thyroid function. And so everybody's heard the word thyroid.
You can put it a little closer here.
Okay, everybody's heard the word thyroid, but few people really know what that means. So that's my orientation.
And you're an MD too, right?
I'm a medical doctor. I was an emergency room doctor the first 10 years. And then after that, I didn't want to be a script doctor. What do I mean? I didn't want to stand in a clinic and write those 10 prescriptions for you. So what I did in place of that was occupational medicine and urgent care, so that I always seem to not have these long-term relationships with patients in which all I did, you came in every 3 months, I ordered the lab to make sure that the medications weren't wrecking your liver and your kidneys, and then just sit there with a script pad and write out script after script after script. I was not built for that. And then I remember that one of the first things that happened that sort of opened my mind was a doctor, an older doctor, told me, in Chinese medicine has nothing to do with American medicine. Not one thing, not one principle, not one anatomical, nothing, nothing. And I was just befuddled because I said, you mean to tell me I just spent 8 years getting through this, and Chinese people are so much healthier than American people, and I've been studying this medicine that doesn't seem to get people better. I mean, was a hard one to figure out.
Can I?
Yep.
So I'm gonna steal the mic from you. We got to pass it back and forth a little bit. Okay, so what you're saying is, and this is what happened when I met you, is you're practicing medicine as an MD in the ER room. You didn't necessarily like that because they were kind of just like assembly line style treatment. You really wanted that long term relationship, and then come to find out that Chinese medicine is not even close to Western medicine, which you spent your life studying, so you can help people and heal people. And you're learning like, wow, what everything I just learned and tried to sacrifice for isn't even working, which is ties into functional medicine. So if you know anything about functional medicine, which is basically a new form of practicing medicine here in America, it's been around for what? It's ancient. It's from the Asian countries, from China, where you go to the root cause of the issue. You're not healing people reactively or trying to treat symptoms. You're actually looking at people's blood work and you're trying to treat people with the root cause. And that's basically the future of wellness, the way I see it. And that's your story. And this happened back in the day, right? When did this happen?
When I decided to move in this direction, it was always present. So I spent 10 years, so from 83 to 93. And then I went into a small private practice and I said, oh no. I mean, because at that time I didn't really understand that low thyroid function is the root of many problems that people have in America. And a statistic that is so tragic, if you look it up, if you just hit pause and you go to the internet and you put in 60% undiagnosed thyroid disease, the American Thyroid Association has that statistic, and what is that telling us? That more people with the most common disease are untreated than treated. Well, that's pretty strange. In a country where they constantly push pills at you, why would we leave thyroid undiagnosed and untreated? Well, thyroid is your energy system. And so if your cells lack energy, every system you have will fail. So thyroid will affect everything, your hair, your eyebrows, even the wax buildup in your ear. If we just stay here above, just from the head up, and more dental decay, less saliva, depression, insomnia, anxiety, all these things are from a lack of cellular energy. So functional medicine, sometimes we say we want to know how do the cells function. You have to give the cells everything they need. So for example, I wrote a book, A Body Made to Win, about how you maximize your cell's energy. So what is an antibody? For example, an antibody, what does it need? It has a receptor for vitamin D from the sun, a receptor for thyroid, a receptor for B12. So that's why you hear a lot about B12, because as we age, we stop absorbing it, and then we're low. And so we're really trying, what they say, you have billions of cells in your body, and let's get them functioning correctly. And that's the point of view of this medicine.
Wonderful. And that was actually a beautiful breakdown because that's very sophisticated. The human body is very sophisticated. But I want to go back to how you, in your own personal journey, where you're healing people and you're realizing that the Western medicine, the Western style, wasn't as effective as the Chinese were. And that's kind of what, like, a segue into where you're at now with the wellness, with the functional medicine, and basically harnessing your cells, taking care of your cells. And so Yuri, from what I know her, because we've been friends for a while now, is she had been kind of betrayed by Western medicine too, right, Yuri?
Exactly.
So let's go into that. How is, because you have very similar stories in a way, right? Let's go into how you dealt with your experience with Western medicine, and what got you into wellness as well. I think it was kind of and me too.
Yeah.
I went through the same thing too. So go for it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, since I was little, since I was 9 and 10, I started feeling excited and fear and nervous for even the next day or something is gonna happen in the future, and I couldn't and hold, the nervous emotions coming up, and I never noticed what it is. Even my family never understand neither until my 20s when I get in a psychiatrist, because that was too much going on, and to even be functional. Always have been functional in abundance, and I'm so blessed. But at the same time, the Western medicine got me maybe for 5 or 7 years in my life. It was working when you talk, no emotions, no anything, no feelings. But that's when you are dead, and basically don't heal you, just sleep you, and continue in that daily routine that is, for me, is dead in life. So when after that time, my last baby, I just decide to figure it out. There is something else, like you were saying. You feel that there is not only this way. It was something different for me out there, and I was ready to just look for it and be open. I was tired of that life, so that's how I come with natural medicines or ancestral medicines. There is so many now. That's why I come to the wellness center and I start sharing with everybody, and in the clinical way as well, because we need to be really respectful with the medicines. Has a spirit, energy, and frequencies that we need to know how they work, to respect the way to how to do it and how much to do it for each one. But I always think the right way is when you found it in yourself, to inside of yourself.
Right. It's very personalized. And I know with your journey, it was ayahuasca. And for me, I was told I would never run again when I was 24. Got a third opinion, and it just turns out I needed some physical therapy, some stretching, some strengthening. But I also use a lot of cannabis. I use a lot of edibles. I smoked a lot because it just made me more self aware. I was using it to heal myself. I would be able to better listen to my body And for me, I like to use it and work out and actually like do yoga and stretch. I'm a lot different. Most people smoke it like, hey, no way they're working out. But for me, cannabis was my
Right.
introduction into natural healing and wellness. And then, of course, there's so many different modalities. For you, it was ayahuasca instead of the psychiatric medicines. And
Yeah.
Dr. Love here does medical cannabis card, not prescriptions. I don't know what the term is anymore these days.
Consulting.
Consulting. And I'm a huge advocate of medical cannabis. But so, Dr. Love, I'd like to ask you, how does medical cannabis tie into your natural healing wellness methodology here? And then, even in an even deeper question, how do you feel that these other natural healing modalities, like with the ayahuasca, how could all this benefit people relative to what the traditional Western medicine is in your eyes?
I think it's a great substitute for medications, and that's my motivation. I don't want to be on medications, and I'm going to help you get off medications. And medications are hard on your liver, it's hard on your kidneys. You have to go to the lab all the time. And this is why the traditional medicine fought cannabis for so long. They lose a lot of money. And just quickly, I want to know from Zeke, from what cannabis do you use to work out with? What type?
I smoke. I still smoke joints.
Like sativa?
I prefer sativa, but I've really kind of been impartial with that lately. I've kind of done a little more research, and apparently, there's really not too much of a differentiation between sativas and indicas now. Some of the research is coming out. It's more of a terpene-driven type of effect, which for me, I go with that. So I go with what my nose tells me. If I'm checking out the terpenes of a cannabis profile and I'm drawn to it, that for me, that's my body telling me that's something that I need. I'm kind of listening to my body in that way. Because a lot of healing for me is, communicating with your own body and then communicating with your healer.
Yeah.
Be it, whoever's going with you on these journeys, or maybe your wellness doctor. You've got to communicate your own body with these people so they can have the best information possible to help you heal yourself as well.
Yeah.
So that's the answer to your question. I'm impartial.
Good, good. I mean, I'm, you know, recent information says that someone who is my age, which is almost 76, who's used cannabis, and I use it primarily for sleep. Unfortunately, I wish I could use it during the day, but I'm somebody who ingests it and then I'm just out to lunch. It does it. I envy people like this gentleman beside me who can work out on it, because I wish I could do more of it. But in any case, that's my orientation, is to help people get off medications. I was always against medications. I come from a background with European more than American, and we were like, buy the food, don't pay the doctor. It was so important what you ate. Every meal had to be prepared right before you made it. So we acted like getting on a medication was the end of the world. We just simply, in my family, didn't want to do it. So we had to be orientated. Like my father developed high blood pressure when he was 50 years old. And he went to the literature at that time. There was an English doctor, and he said, you need more magnesium, you need more vitamin D. Well, that turned out to be the DASH diet by Harvard. So Harvard said, you're low in vitamin D and you're low in magnesium. If you want to control your blood pressure, that's how you can do it. And so what I would do with patients with high blood pressure, I'd say, let's try this first.
Okay.
So,
This is great.
real quick on the vitamin D, I just found out recently that I was low on vitamin D, and I was having a lot of gastrointestinal issues, a lot of big issues. So once I started supplementing vitamin D in, my life started to change significantly. So that's just a really huge, good piece of advice there for people there. And I use the tincture, the vitamin D tincture, and it does take a couple of weeks to build up. Next, I know Yuri, in your journey, when you started to get away from the Western medicine, a lot of it was diet for you as well, right? You started to eat more natural foods, organic fruits and vegetables. Let's talk a little bit about that with your journey as well.
Yeah. So first, I start cleaning my diet because I noticed that depends what was my meal that day. It was my emotions by 6 p.m. and then asked me for or more food, or depends how calm or not calm I feel. So the organic juice help a lot, and every morning to have the nutrients. And I started like testing myself with microdosing the I call it Santa Maria. That is the cannabis, Santa Maria, and the way to with respect. Just microdosing, meditating, got inside, and yes, the first episodes was like most releasing, most shaking, but after like maybe a couple months, I just stop and I start getting able to work with like manifesting or work out with them, or start working with my businesses more accurate, have a team, and start feeling way better in balance in a whole entire life. And that's what I say. This is something that we can share, and and I think the clinical way how they do it right now, it helps a lot. But the spiritual side, we need a little bit more information out there to everybody just respect the way how they do it. And I'm pretty sure the same spirit of the Santa Maria, it will give you more energy and more vitality, for sure.
That's fantastic because it is not an easy thing to do to become more self aware. But that to me, that's kind of like the commonality between you two ladies here, is that you become more self aware in terms of what you're eating because you are what you eat, and that's kind of the first thing. And you notice, I know Dr. Love, like she's always about diet, always about eating clean foods. And when I first met you, you're like, man, that was like the first thing I did. I started to change what I ate, and then you proceeded with the spiritual side of it, right?
Right.
And so, Dr. Love, because Yuri's big on the spiritual side of it, and when I want her to get into that too here shortly, what are your perspectives on the spiritual side in terms of self awareness and in terms of how you could go about utilizing that newfound self awareness? As a small example, what you eat. Do you have any kind of insight or input on that, or is that a core component in your healing methodology? What do you think here? 'Cause spiritual is a big word.
I think meditation is very valuable to really slow down. And what's beautiful about hot springs is or heat therapy, it instantly throws you into a meditative state. If you think you're going to get into a hot springs bath of 108 degrees and continue to think about your problems, you're not. Your mind goes blank. If you have some problem you're trying to solve, maybe at the end of your soaking you'll have a solution. And also what I think is interesting about it, one of the ways, I mean, it's not easy to meditate. You have to learn how. So I noticed, I give people a hint, when you're in the hot springs, and as you breathe, your hands, they go up and down slightly. They're at your side and they go up. As you inhale, as you exhale, you have less oxygen in your body that sinks down, up, down. So you can just focus on your hands. And I think that calming the mind, we are so really jacked up with the stimuli coming at us and all our problems and our financial problems and our family problems. We're just overwhelmed. So it's a really great thing for the human to blank their mind and relax. So
I agree. I agree. Couldn't agree anymore. And I've had different ways of meditating. I've done the Buddhist way when I'm running. That's a form of meditation. I stretch almost 2 hours every day. And so that's my form of meditation. Yuri, let's talk about the spiritual side for you with terms of meditation. She's got hers clipped on there.
Yeah.
So in terms of meditation and in terms of how you go about healing, with your methodology.
Yeah, well, all the medicines are different, but this one, in case the cannabis, I think is it's a plant of power, that I call it, una planta de poder, is of the power, because it's a short period of time and it's strong, it's a boost, and then you need to just adapt to the medicine, breathe the medicine, how it is, the breath is our life. So we start breathing. I got inside. I close my eyes. I just sat there for 10 minutes. That is the first episode of Santa Maria getting into you. You adapt to accepting. You welcome the spirit. It's fast. You say 15 minutes. After that, we have 45 minutes range to manifestate, even just health, prosperity, economy, relationships, emotions, traumas, release just simple trauma or stress, daily stress too. And This medicine, what I work with them is with the breath work as well. We can combine it
Right.
and make a sonic breath work was what I do in my wellness center. So it is a total 2 hours lay down, and we just enjoy the little ceremony with the Santa Maria. And after that, it's 1 hour or a soundtrack with frequencies that comes with a theta, delta, alpha to make you in a state of relaxation, and you start getting into inconscience to release those memories that you got stuck in there so that you can disblock or just release traumas, and you will change you think your perspective of life. You will change how you move, how you see it, how you speak, because it is something else in there, but it's connected from the Mother Earth. That's what I'm saying. It's so many different kinds of medicines, and all of them has different ways of ceremonial. But the cannabis is a short period of time. It's really powerful, and I don't recommend it daily because the strong that is the plant. But for real, it is something that you microdose, and you are in a good mood and balance and really intention, your intention of healing with the light. And the only thing that you can get is just love and potential.
Well, this is so fascinating to be talking to you ladies here at once because on my own personal wellness journey, I've actually only recently started to tie in both components. Because the way I see it is, you're more of a shaman, spiritual healer, which is super powerful in its own right. When you're guiding people through self awareness, through their own traumas, through their own anxieties and stresses through life, and you're walking them through that, and you're there for them spiritually, that comes with its own sense of healing, spiritually, and then it manifests through the physical body, right? And then, so for Dr. Love, she has the MD, but also the functional. Well, she's going to look at your blood work and she's going to look at your hormones, like the thyroid and stuff, and then really tie that in as well. And what I started to do recently was do both. And I started to get my blood work done, look at my testosterone levels, look at that. But I've been doing the spiritual side. It got me so far. The spiritual side is so important.
Huge.
But putting like what you girls do together, you ladies do together, is so huge. I think for everybody in their wellness journey. Is there anything you want to say about that, Dr. Love? And I'll ask you the same thing to you too.
So at the end of this spiritual journey, do you believe that what manifests in the day-to-day life is that somebody wakes up and says, I'm important, and then they begin to live a healthy lifestyle. They begin to eat healthy. They stay away from alcohol. I mean, so
It is like you're saying, as a habit to repeat and repeat every day a mantra. It will work on 45 days, probably 2 or 3 months. Depends how you eat, depends what kind of music you listen, and everything. But if you can get in that point only with practice, because the human body, that's the way how we work with habits. We forgot. Our memory is here the problem, you know? They took our memory since we come in here, and then now we start over. And even every day, we forgot the most of the information from yesterday. We just keep some important information in the front, and then everything goes to the inconscious, and we just don't remember. So remember yourself every morning that you are a son of God, that you are enough, that you belong in this planet. There is no homeless exists in this world, you know, and things like we are one. Of course, it would change your mind and mindset, physical body, how you look, and even motivation, for sure.
Yeah, beautifully put. What do you think, Dr. Love, about that?
I mean, I agree 100% that you need new habits, and that you can find your way to difficult changes through spiritual development.
Yes.
And becoming in contact, because if you think it's just going to be meditation and you can go back to your foolish ways of maybe alcohol, maybe junk food, maybe fast food, you're going to need to develop some kind of inner resource. And this is the pathway to how you develop that inner resource where you say, I'm not living this life anymore. I'm going to live differently, and I'm going to be healthy, and I'm going to be energetic and focused. And also, then you got to get those interpersonal relationships and say, I'm not going to let that person trigger me.
Yeah.
That's exactly. And we all deal with that. We all deal with betrayal and tragedy, from the people that we love the most, and life. We're all flawed. We're all sinners. I am a Christian man, so I just have this very similar mindset too. And I'm just like everyone else in this world. I have my bad days. I have my good days,
Mhm.
and it does take a certain mindset of self talk, and you build your own self confidence. But I didn't do it alone. I did it with God. I did it by hanging out with people like both of you. Like, she's really my friend. We're like really friends, and you are who you hang out with. You really are, guys. Another spiritual aspect I think I'd like to add to this too is like your environment is everything,
Yeah.
especially the people that you're around on a daily basis. And so, yeah,
I wanna add that point that you're saying that you did it alone. It is 100% true. The most important part of the journal of a person, because the integration is, if you don't have integration after the
and
ceremony,
integration, like, you mean, like, what do you mean by that? Like the
when
spiritual work or the psychological work after?
yes, after.
Okay.
Yes, the after work. When you're not in the medicine, when you are after the medicine, when the medicine is already out of your body, and then you already have the information.
You're
You already
integrate.
connect with yourself. You know who you are. But now you integrate all the information you have
Uh-huh.
and continue with these good habits,
Uh-huh.
and connect with yourself. That's why in all my ceremonies, we do a diet, pre-diet. We go through the ceremony overnight, and then 2 weeks after, an integration 101 with each one, to make sure that you're not more confused, because any kind of medicines comes from the earth. They they have a lot of information too for you. Comes from your ancestors, comes from your grandmother, from your grandfather, and you don't know what is this information very well. So you need a guidance, you need a community to share with. And we never know. Sometimes we learn from the kid, and the kid was there telling something, and that was the message, and we never pay attention to little connections. And even right now, what we're doing is, of course, more sharing on the camera, but even just talking one on one with her earlier, I'm making a connection with another divine, with another creator. Only that is amazing. It's a lot to learn for me and for her at the same time. And that's what the connection of after spirituality, like after the ceremony, become part of this earth, and have a little bit idea why we come here, like what is the first purpose in life. It's just to learn how to be a human, how to feel those emotions, how to just live in simple and presence, because they say don't have a fear, but the people say yes, but how don't feel it. Yes, with the medicine, yes, but and then the medicine give you the information, but the answer is just in one of us. It's just individual answer.
That's wonderful. And so, let's go ahead and start to wrap things up. I want to add this last thing in that, with the wellness journey for me is I had to learn how to become comfortable being uncomfortable. You want to push yourself spiritually in such a way that you gain more self-awareness. And for me, what that means is that you want to face your demons. You want to, become more understanding of your flaws and admit those flaws so that way you can start working on them and seek help with someone like Dr. Love and going over your blood work or just whatever she has to teach you. Cause she's taught me a tremendous amount, especially with the thyroid, or get with, if you got the anxiety, you got the stresses and your story resonates with what Yuri has shared or Dr. Love, get with someone like Yuri, go to Valley Care Wellness and, you know, take what she offers in terms of spiritual guidance and spiritual awareness, because that is where the healing is for me. That's where the growth is. And thank you both so much for sharing your stories. I think a lot of people can relate to all of our stories. And Dr. Love, if there's anything you want to end with here and share with the community here, please go ahead.
It has to do with what Yuri is talking about, that there is something called earth medicine, where the earth out there can heal you. We spend way too much time indoors. And I just want to read this. Vitamin D deficiency, increased risk of death. Look it up. Evidence suggests that vitamin D deficiency increases the risk of premature death, with studies showing a 25% higher mortality risk for those with deficient levels. From what? All causes. cancer, cardiovascular disease, respiratory. So as we run around trying to be healthy, nobody's in the sun. Everybody acts like if they get in the sun, they're going to get 1,000 wrinkles and skin cancer. But all the cancers, as I just read you, all the cancers are low vitamin D cancers. So that's part of it. So what else is earth medicine? Well, I learned this concept in Europe because I would go with the hot spring spa doctors to conferences. So this is their concept. You get sick in France, the doctor will write a script. You can go to the spa for 3 weeks, and the government pays it. So they take it seriously. So what happens when you go to a hot spring spa? You're in the sun, you're eating healthy, you're heating up your body, and that is hot springs on so many levels beyond the scope of this talk here. And so I think that the more you're outside, the better it is for you. And also, unfortunately, we can only make 25, somebody at age 70 only makes 25% of the vitamin D they made when they were 20 years old. So you have to stay longer. This idea that you can put your arms for 15 minutes in the sun and you can get vitamin D, you're going to get vitamin D deficiency. So you actually have to do it as a discipline to be in the sun. It's not easy to be in the sun. So that's one thing. But the second thing I wanna say before this finishes is that the concept that your energy system is your thyroid system, and your thyroid hormone is made of iodine. So we have these hormones which we nickname T3, T4, 4 atoms of iodine hooked to an amino acid, three molecules. Sorry, 3 atoms of iodine. So if you're not getting iodine in your diet, which is from seafood, and a lot of people don't like seafood, you're going to have to maybe buy iodinized salt. Because in the 1930s, they said in the United States, you cannot sell any salt in this country without iodine in it. Why? Because people had goiters, people were low thyroid. So that's two things that I see that give me energy, getting enough iodine in my diet and getting enough vitamin D. And so for my age, I still have focus, I still can work. And so, and I don't know if I finished saying this, but people who use cannabis, I'm going to say it again, had more, or maybe I didn't say it, more brain mass in their 70s and more cognitive function on cannabis.
I've
The
seen that.
opposite, the
All my friends.
opposite of what we think.
I love it. I love it. I
all
love
all
it.
my friends that are in their 70s that smoke cannabis are doing fantastic. Honestly, they're very, very healthy people. So that's all super powerful knowledge that you got to pay doctors a lot of money to learn.
Yes.
So she's giving you a lot of value there, Dr. Love. Thank you for all that.
Thank
That was
you.
Welcome.
really
Thank
good
you for
information.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. And then Yuri, do you want to say anything else?
No, no,
You
no.
good?
Really, I really share whatever everything I have right now about this medicine. I'm really. It's my honor to be here with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Una
you, Sig, again
curandera.
Absolutely.
for the podcast.
Una curandera in persona aquí con nosotros.
Thank you.
So the other thing I want to just say in closing, is that cannabis is one of the original 50 Chinese medications or herbs. So going back 5,000 years, they've been using it. And so I know wherever there was, we had a thunderstorm while we were talking, which in New Mexico is considered a blessing.
Right.
So that was all that rumbling. But so,
That's it.
Thank you very
was
much.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, thank you again. 5,000-year-old medicine, guys. Cannabis. You can get your medical cannabis card here with Dr. Love here in Tier C. You can give her a call. I'll put the number in the description if you want to get your medical cannabis card.
we do telemedicine.
And she does telemedicine. It's 15% off of your meds, and you get to access to the high dose THC products that people who don't have their medical cannabis card don't have access to.
That's how you save money. It's expensive, but
True.
Really save money.
The bigger doses you can buy, the cheaper it is. So definitely
Great point.
a card is needed. And I want to mention microdosing. So people in pain can take a 10 milligram dose of an edible and cut it in 4 pieces. And every 2 hours, take a fourth of it, and they don't go under the psychotropic things it does to the mind. And
That's a lot.
that's a good way. And you
Thank
can
you.
go, you can be at work, and nobody's going to say, that guy was stoned. or whatever.
They might.
Balance.
They might.
Balance.
And then, yeah, with Yuri, Valley Care Wellness, up there on Picacho,
Yes.
next to Valley Pizza. You can come take out some organic juices. They've got mushroom coffee there. They do yoga. Obviously, she does her sound bath therapy. She does her Santa Maria, classes and therapies and
Yes.
breath work. She does it all. Everything that we just talked about here, she offers it at her wellness clinic as well. Two amazing wellness women, ladies, girls, whatever you want to say, in Southern New Mexico. It's such a treasure to have you girls here. Thank you so much for everything you're doing for the community and for the human species. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Nice. Really good.